This video is for our Q&A session on Instagram for today. So this question is picked for today, and that is about single mothers. They have to let their children spend a weekend with their father, and that I think happens every other weekend. This is a very common emotion that I see within people who are separated and have children. They get very depressed, they get anxiety, and they get a lot of mixed emotions when they send their children out to their father on the weekends. The question was that what do they need to do to prevent this from happening? The first thing that I want them to do is brain dumping. I want them to do a brain dump session. And that is called brain dump because our brain holds many fears and many reasons for anxiety in the back conscious. It holds it in, and we don't even know why. Sometimes we get so depressed and we don't even know why that's happening. The brain is holding so many reasons without even you knowing it. And the only way that you could bring those out and dump it out of your brain is called a brain dump practice, which we do all the time with my clients. This needs to be done when you're feeling that emotion. You cannot write it today if you're sitting with your child in your house. You have to do it right at the time when your child is gone and you're feeling anxious and you're feeling depressed. That's the best time for you to do this practice. You sit down and you're going to start by writing what are the reasons that you feel anxious and depressed. What is it? Is it that you're worried that maybe the father cannot take care of your child properly? Or is it just like you're missing your daughter or your son because they're not home? It's just because you miss them talking to you because you're used to having them around. Write down all the reasons. Try to bring it out of your brain. And that is the first step for you to empty your brain. There is no one to judge you there. There is no one to read it. It's only you. So read whatever that comes to your mind. It doesn't matter if it sounds weird, if it sounds funny, just write it down. And after you're done writing that down, try to identify the exact feeling and emotion that you get when they're gone. Is it depression? Is it anxiety? Is it because, again, the very main reasons that I see within the people who I met before is because one, they feel like the father cannot take care of the child properly. Two is because they just miss them. They just want them to be there. They just used to having them around. If your reason is because the child is missed, because you miss them, because you feel empty, because when they're not around you feel like your world is gone and there is nothing else for you to do, then there is one solution to this. You need some self-love. You're not giving yourself enough love. And that's because your only hobby, your only happiness, your only joy is your child being around. I understand having a child is very joyful. The people that I've met who have these feelings are amazing mothers. But the thing is that when you feel like this, if it's because you're missing them, that means you need to have self-love. That means the time that your child is not there needs to be dedicated to you. That means you do not want to dedicate any time to yourself. So we need to try by practicing slowly, by taking the time to find out what is it that you like to do on your free time. What is it that you like to have as a hobby? Maybe dancing, maybe, but I know with the COVID-19 we can't go anywhere, but it could be all done at home. If you're missing your child, you have to replace it with something that brings you joy. You have to find something that brings you power, joy, happiness. And the reason I'm saying this is because your child is going to get the vibe from you that when they're gone, you're feeling depressed and you're having anxiety. And that's not good for your children because you're giving them the vibe that self-love is not important. You're telling them that I don't love myself enough. I love you more than I love myself. When you're gone, I cannot see myself alone. And you are the role model for your child. So if your child sees you happy, if your child does understand, see you, and know that when they're gone, you're still happy. You do miss them, you do love them, you do want them back with you, but still you're happy. You're not depressed. If they see that from you, that will make them understand that there is something called self love and they will learn it from you. So you need to show them that when they're gone, you take care of yourself. You're happy, you're joyful. And again, finding that joy, if you need help with finding that joy, if you need help with finding your hobby or something that you can do in your alone time, that's a different process that we need to do. And you could ask me, I can help you with that as well. But this needs to be done for your free time while they're gone. This is good for your children and for yourself, for them to see you happy, taking care of yourself, and for you to be happy and take care of yourself. And number two, if you're not happy from them being around because you're worried about them being with their father, and because you feel like if they're with their father, they cannot be taken care of properly, then that is something that is totally understandable. So many people do have these emotions, and it could be true, it could be not true. But even let's say it's true. And let's say when your child goes to the father, if they can speak, if they can talk, if they're not little, then it's much better. But if they're too little, they can't talk, then it makes it a little bit harder for you. But if they go out there, if they go to their father, and if you feel like they cannot be taken care of properly, then if it's something serious, then you have to be talking to your lawyer, and then you have to make sure if it's a danger to your child, then you have to make sure to prevent that from happening. But if it's not a danger, if it's something that you just feel anxiety about, just it's something that you feel that your child needs better, deserves better, then that is something which is out of your control. It's something that you cannot control. If you cannot control it, again, try to brain dump that. Try to write it down and try to figure out, if that's the case, what is it that you're worried about? What are the things that you think your child is not receiving with their father? And if those things are the things that are not under your control, if you cannot do anything about it, if you could do something, do it. But if it's something that you can't really do anything about, then you have to start working on your energy, and you have to start letting that outside of yourself. You have to let that trapped energy outside of yourself. That is only a trapped negative energy inside you. That's all it is. It's nothing else. The only reason that people get worried and anxious regarding the things that they have no control over is because of trapped negative energies, because you are not having control over things that you're not able to control. So why do you have to be worried about? The only thing that you have to do is to give out some positive energy towards that thing that you're worried about, and let it receive positive energy from you. That's the only thing you need to do. But if you're giving out negative energy and if you're worried, you're only bothering your own self, your own physical body, your own mind, your own soul, your own peace and comfort. And again, you're giving that vibe to your children, and it's making them anxious. You're giving them anxiety, and you're making them depressed, because they are going to get that vibe from you. If not now, they're going to get it when they grow up. So try to fix this. If you need help with getting away from worry, if that's your reason, if you're worried about your child not being taken care of properly, then that again has a different practice for you to get rid of your worries and your fears and your unnecessary thoughts. Again, if you need help with that, let me know here on Instagram, and I will be helping you with that as well. Thank you so much for your question, and I hope you find peace, joy, and happiness very soon. And that will happen. It's very easy. You're an amazing mother, that's for sure. Just make sure you give yourself enough love, make sure you give yourself enough care, and make sure you can manage to get that worry, stress, and anxiety outside of your body, your soul, and your mind. If you need help with that, I'm here for you.